What makes you sad always? Hi Reddit guys, subscribe now, or I will cut your internet connection. Death of my wife. It has been almost 13 years and I can start bawling my eyes out at the drop of a hat. Sad commercial, country western song, sappy movie. I just sob. She was the light of my life and the apple of my eye. We shared 29 glorious years, but it will never have been enough. She was only 50. I lost my wife to cancer after 10 years. She was 31 years old. I can only imagine the extent of your pain. I hope you have found happiness in her absence. I have remarried and I am happy, but I will never be whole again. My girlfriend just got cancer surgery last month. Only my girlfriend, because we can't afford insurance if we were married, and I am what most people would consider successful, but the bills are crazy when it comes to cancer. She's doing well as of now, but this hit home. Before, it was life as usual, but the last 6 months I started thinking about what it would be like to be a single father of a 4-year-old. Not trying to sound selfish, of course my main concern is for her. But thinking about, and I mean really understanding it could be a real possibility, doing it without her me up a few times. Even now when I hear certain songs or see something I get a bit teary-eyed, and I was taught to be a strong man and bear a burden so others can be weak in their time of need, by my old man. So this is pretty new to me. I've had people pass that I've cared about, but this is just different. Pull it back in quick and continue strong for the kids. Edit. Shit, even rereading this almost got a tear. Quick turnaround, happy face, cause it's bedtime for the kids. That there are certain people in my life who were so important to me in the past, but are gone now. Like deceased or drifted away and don't want to talk to me, or were an online friend that I can't find anymore. I've been missing a few old friends a lot, and at the time, they meant the world to me. Stuff happened, and we went our separate ways. Now I would love to chat with them just to catch up. Nothing more, no hidden meaning. It's hard for me to reach out to others, so it's a big step. One, I have no direct way to contact. The other, left on read. I guess it makes sense, but it hit me in the nostalgia and stings a bit right now. Make sure you tell people at some point what they meant to you. Even if that meaning has changed and faded over the years. Even if you were just thinking about the good old days and they were special. Tell them, and if you get a nice message, don't leave them on read. This comment hit really hard, man. One of my friends just went off to college and she just sorta cut contact. She has no idea, but she meant the world to me. She was the one person who paid attention to me and took me in when I was the weird new kid. She had no idea, and I guess she never will. Sometimes I'll be telling a story, and I don't think anyone is listening, so I just stop in the middle, and I am right. I have a friend who can't stand being interrupted and will always let you know. So over time, in order to not offend him, I would develop a way to listen to him, and others who interrupted his story. When they were done, I would ask him to resume by repeating the last thing he said, showing that I was still engaged in his conversation. I do this also with my brother-in-law's wife, since people tune her out after a minute of her talking, and I experience it myself being the youngest in my family and always overshadowed by my older siblings' more interesting problems. You can see on their face that they are happy that at least one person was still interested in what they had to say and asked for them to resume their story before so rudely being interrupted. It's not your fault, obviously. Most people are just waiting for you to stop moving their lips so they can speak and top your story or tell something more interesting. I was a freshman about to leave for the dorms in college. Realized my mom wasn't listening. And it was when I realized she wasn't listening all these other times too. My whole life she hasn't been interested in most of what little stories and things that I was telling her. It really hurt, and I went from thinking I was going to call her every week and share my college life with her to going every month or so. Our relationship was never the same because I realized she just wasn't interested. That is sad. I'm so sorry. No one can break your heart like your parents can. Dennis Johnson in Jesus' Son. She wanted to hurt me as only a child can be hurt by its mother. This is why I prefer the written word. Nobody is obliged to read anything, and you never know who has or has not listened. The blank page is always listening. It's weird. I can chat all day with strangers all over the world. But when I try to talk to the bloke I have been working with for quite some time, the gears stop and I don't know what to do anymore. the way I treat others in the past. Feeling sad about it shows that you have a heart and learned from it and that you have done and will do better. That's a positive. That's all dandy and all, but you still feel like a fucking piece of shit. In grade school during baseball practice I called this kid with a bigger than normal chin, Crimson Chin. I have no clue why I called him that, but once I did, multiple people called him it to the point he went home crying. That was almost 12 years ago, and to this day I'll see pictures of him on Instagram with his buddies and he'll be holding his drink in his hand in an awkward position right in front of his chin. You can absolutely tell he's still insecure about it. I am probably responsible for that insecurity. I think about it all the time and I genuinely feel like a piece of shit. My mom passed away recently, at only 49 years old. My biggest fear was losing her. I can barely function anymore, and feel like I lost my will to live. My life feels surreal now. Every time I think of her I am so beyond devastated, it's indescribable. Edit. Thank you to everyone who said kind things or shared their stories as well. I will be reading all of your comments. My mom was my best friend, and things have been really challenging lately. Hey there, I just lost my dad in June and I feel for you. The hardest part for me is still having a microsecond of a feeling like I have to call him or talk to him about something the next time we have a visit. It stings every single time and leaves me feeling pretty hollow. I hope you don't ever lose your reason for living though. There is nothing I can say to take away the sorrow, but something that helps me a very little bit is thinking about how I shouldn't stop doing things in my life that would have made my dad proud. It's the very least I can do to honor him, and I think your mother would maybe feel the same for you by the sound of it. My mom passed 5 years ago, and it still crosses my mind that I need to call her to check in, or tell her something ridiculous one if my kids did. Hits me in the chest every time. My age. While 70 is a milestone, I miss the days of youth. I miss my vigor and energy. I wake up sad some days because I know my days on this earth are dwindling. I wish I had done more in life even though my accomplishments in my career were satisfying. I wish we had had more children. At the same time, I'm glad to be retired, even with the meager pensions we have now. And after 50 years of marriage, I'm glad to spend my final years with my best friend and lover. I'm sad there's just so little time left. I'm in the same position. What I dread most is the day one of us is no longer here. Thinking about that, when I will be lying in bed alone and missing her so much, is almost more than I can bear. On the plus side, it makes me appreciate so much the time we have together. My wife snores a bit, not much but enough to keep me awake some nights. I know I could move to another room, but for me, I'll take being a bit tired tomorrow over sleeping alone tonight. Seeing someone disappointed in me, it's the same look in their eyes. God, one of the things I most regret is disappointing my second grade teacher. It's been 12 years now and I still think about it. She taught me so many important things in life. I was late to school a lot, so she made a calendar for me where if I go to class on time every day for a month then she'll buy me a prize. I remember she bought me a Geronimo Stilton book, and another time she got me a sketchbook because I like to draw. She also taught me how to read. We read Charlie in the Chocolate Factory and she'll explain to me what I just read. I could pronounce the words from the page, but a lot of times I didn't know what I just read. She went out of her way to help make me into a better person, and I stole someone's Pokémon cards. I admitted that I did it because I felt so guilty, and I remember the disappointment in her eyes. Probably one of the worst things I could imagine. If I had one chance to fix something in my past, it would be to beat some sense into my 7-year-old dumbass. If she's still around, I know she'd love to hear what an impact she made on you and what you're up to now. Lol. Haven't been up to much. School, basketball, anime, and that's about it. I'll let her know when I found the cure for cancer. Well, the fact that you did not continue stealing and became a somewhat decent human being, at least you seem to be one to me, will be enough for her. Sometimes just being reminded that other people acknowledge and appreciate your existence is enough to make them happy. The smallest actions can have the deepest impact. Wow, well said. Not knowing what exactly to do in life. Seeing pictures of my dad. My parents divorced when I was 3, and courts didn't allow a lot of visitation time for my dad. He finally got me out of a bad situation with my mom when I was 15 and got me back on track. He died a few years later, and I always feel like I got cheated out of having him in my life. Edit. Thank you all for the kind words, and also all the awards. I definitely was not expecting this to get any attention, but I really do appreciate everyone for reaching out. You guys are awesome.
That's all Reddit guys, and don't forget, please subscribe or I will cut your internet connection.